All right. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Let me know when you start coming in. If you could hear me, that would be great. All right. Hello. Good morning, Trams Futures, aka Alan. Thank you for the news there. I'm glad you can hear me. Hope everyone enjoyed the fast Forex trade a day trade. It's how we always intended it. I wish the market would cooperate a little more often. Just to let you know what I mean, we had one trade. It came in a few minutes after our start time. It was orderly enough to execute. Came in. Could not have had a better tuned trade. Just stabbed right on through and came right on down, and that was it. Done. We ignore the first target because it was too small, so we take that part of the position off at target 2. That was 11 pips. It's 10 and 11 pips is, just that's our minimum. Like, we really want more than that, but it is what it is. You can see how tuned it was. Anyway, 11 pips with your target 1 and target 2 position coming off, and then target 3 for 15 and target 4 for 20, of course. Take out a couple pips there for spread on the entry, and other than that, Spotlight's done a pretty good job, actually, of kind of keeping us out of a pretty uninspired price action morning. Lack of. Good morning, Bob. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Quick look at crude oil futures. Starting at 9, I mean, you can see the break-even trade. If you're using the blue trade off the 20 SMA, that's part of this plan, but it was just a break-even, basically. You might even say it lost a couple ticks because the strategy adjusted the break-even stop above the key level. And that's because it's set to, if you get within 2 ticks of a major key level, it'll adjust it 1 tick beyond. The entry was 49, so the stop would have moved to 48, and 48 is 2 ticks beyond the 50. So it moved it up to 51. On the other side of the moving average was a coincidence. So maybe a couple ticks there on the downside, and then another break-even trade, just missing target 1. So depending on what trades you took, maybe you quit after that. I don't know. Maybe you're a little negative because of the stop not being quite at break even. And then if so, you get this nice trade here. And that would be ideal. It's still going, hitting all its targets and just smashing down and still trailing. So a really great morning on crude, I guess, or break even, depending on if one kept trading or not. If you are still trading, that stop would be at 63.91. I made a real effort to get in here and start a few minutes in front of the session opening today, as you can see. So the Dowie Mini with a nice move lower and missing target 2 by 1 tick, but a little bit ahead of time. So still waiting for the first trade of the morning on the YM. And unleaded gas. Yeah, unleaded is, I mean, depending on if you got in sync with the short trade, and it looks like, yeah. So this one comes down and triggers in and then stops out. So it starts with a losing trade this morning, losing 47 ticks. Is that good news? I guess it is if you caught this winner, because the winner definitely exceeded and is still going. So the early loss sometimes is a blessing if it puts you in a situation where you have to take a second trade, which then knocks the ball out of the park. And it did just finish. So anyone trading unleaded, 2 and done this morning. Not so bad. Crude oil just finished as well. Of course, later today, not that much later, about exactly 1 hour, we will be looking for our first trade of the crude oil report. 1 hour and 1 minute from now. And then we're looking at this new chart on the euro yen. Not a new chart, but just a chart we haven't really paid any attention to for the longest time. But the euro yen has kind of woken up, has been producing nice trades. This one coming a little too early. This one also too early and filtered out anyway. And now we're flat and no trades. So the long trade canceled, the short trade canceled, and we'll keep an eye on this one. See what happens this morning. Just want to remind you all to please hit the like button. Helps us a lot. Helps me a lot. Helps me get motivated more to wake up when it's still nighttime out. It's not easy to do. I think next month is my 18-year anniversary for calling a live trade room. Dios mío. All right, and a lot more people entering and joining, and welcome. Good morning, everybody. We kind of just walked through what happened this morning, so if you missed it and you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to review it again. There's some nice Forex swing trades in play. If you guys have been, I don't know if anyone in here is interested or if you're paying attention, but Forex has been on fire. Good morning to you, Judith, Brett. Judith, I hear a wow coming from you. You mind drilling down and explaining what you mean by that? Good morning, Ed. Nice to see you guys. Oh, the 18 years. Is that the wow? Oh, my goodness. Karam, good morning, sir. Hope you're well. Happy anniversary in advance, just in case I'm not here next week. Yes, thank you. Kevin declared 1 and done on a trade that was difficult to catch. Well, not sure what to do about that, Don. I mean, I was there. I watched it. I was able to grab it, so I don't know what to say. Yeah, that's a tough call. I mean, there hasn't been a trade since. I don't know if you were in here a moment ago. I showed you. I see how it moved quickly. Now, one thing about the rapid fire tool on FX Synergy is that if it's a little bit beyond your entry, you could have a preset that markets you in. I don't know. I have to check and see if that's what happened to me. I didn't look carefully enough. Judith, Judith, you hit the nail on the head. Look at that, 18 years leading a chat room in California when the market is in New York. Yes, thank you. Finally, somebody understands. Somebody understands my lot in life. I'm sure I look like 10 years older than I should because of the lack of sleep, getting up as early as I have to do every day. Poor me. Now, if I could just get to bed at a decent time. Yeah, so anyway, definitely pays to have the strategy, I guess, and to know what's coming. I'm not sure what to say, Don. It's like, man, it's just Forex is Forex. No trade since. If you want to take another trade, we can certainly do that. And look at crude oil is on fire. Good morning, Miles. Judith, you know what? It's funny, but I used to go to sleep at the time I have to get up now. Playing in rock and roll bands in my young adult life all the time, playing in clubs and all over. I'd be rolling in right around when the sun's coming up, and I had a late night business as well. Look at these swings on crude. This is remarkable. This huge short that just happened. I just walked through it, but now that you guys are all kind of settling in here, there were a couple break-even trades, and it's questionable if one even was able to get this, or if anyone's even trading it, because if you don't have the setup. So this trade here, this third trade, well, you can see what happened. And then this. Wow, talk about roller coaster. Hopefully they don't use up all their juice before the crude oil report comes out. And unleaded too. Look at that. Unleaded would have got long on this green trade here if you were still trading. It was power of quitting prior. Unleaded had the losing trade to start, getting in sync right in this area. And then, getting short, getting in sync at our start time, stopping out, and then this. And this one definitely could have grabbed it because it came back up and hit the entry later. With this trade here, you would have a stop and reverse adjustment that would prevent getting short here. I think, maybe not. Maybe you just get ticked in. It's hard to see that. Just to look, because now I'm interested. 7.9. Got as low as 8.2. And the entry was at 8.7. I usually do. I mean, I would have probably been, I don't know. That's cutting it close. Luckily, we had power of quitting before then. Anyway, that's a tough decision to make. Yeah, good job, John. And that's because of, John, answer me if this is what happened to you. Because of the key level adjustment on the first trade, adjusting from 48, where it would have been, to 51, trying to hide that stop. Is that the reason that you were a tiny bit negative and forced a third trade? Because wouldn't that be ironic, and the trade plan working in mysterious ways? I'm just curious. Because the entry was at 49, it hit money management, came back up. And that was exactly why you were still negative. Isn't that amazing? Because if you were positive or break even, the trade plan would have had you quitting. You'd be pulling, your hair out of your head. If you miss this, Incredible. One tick negative. I mean, talk about sticking with the trade plan. Well done. That's all I can say. That's why you can't be worried about a losing trade here, a losing session there. I mean, the trade plan works in mysterious ways. And sometimes the losing trade is good luck, because then the next trade is a big winner. That happens. You guys have heard my story of the $5 crude oil winner after losing 2 in a row when I was just, demonstrating in front of a big crowd in Paris at a trade show, convention, trading du salon, I think it was called. Anyway, that was the SST days. But if I didn't have those 2 losing trades in a row and hit power of quitting with a little $150 winner, that would have sucked. The third trade was a $5 run, $5,000 a contract. And that's what really taught me. The trade plan works in mysterious ways. And the losing trade could be the best thing that happens. All right, here's a short on the pound Aussie if anyone is interested. I will warn you, it is already finished. Power of quitting with a perfectly tuned trade. And now this. And it's pushing down on this. A lot of support in here. So this is a trade that would have me quite nervous. It's outside of the trade plan, and it's got some mitigating factors that make this a hard trade. Doesn't mean it won't push through, doesn't mean it won't win. 7992, the stop would be at 8011, and then add the spread on top of that on the buy side. And then you got these targets here. As you can see, 79.80, 79.73, 66, and 59. So if anyone needs that trade because maybe they couldn't grab this one, the first one might have been too fast for some of you, there you go. But I still am not confident. The reasons I just said. All right, we got quite the crowd now, so thank you again. Welcome, welcome. I will be the YouTuber and repeat to you all to please hit the like button. Please, please, please. I'm trying to get YouTube to notice me and to notice the Backpack Trader channel. All right, Roger, nice to see you, man. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well, staying safe and healthy. Kind of a unique experience jumping on YouTube Live versus our old trade room. That trade room gave us nearly 18 good years. Yeah, very good, Roger. Happy to see that. Yeah, so let's see. Still nothing on our euro yen. If you're just joining us and you haven't been with me for a while, like Roger, for example, the euro yen has kind of come back into play lately. It's been producing really nicely and with spotlight. Now, this is just my own observations and some observations from some of my other members who have said as such as well. And I'm about to, I know you guys have heard me say this the last week or two. I've had computer problems, which is why I haven't done this sooner. But I am about to do a spontaneous YouTube Live session that you guys are all invited to, where I'm literally going to fast test this chart, go through the exercise of the 3-step sniff test, which really the third step is what matters most in this case. So that's the fast testing. And if you'll remember, Fast testing is when you are counting winning and losing and break-even sessions based on a real simple set of trade plan rules. Start time, stop time, what is the minimum goal that represents a winning trade, and therefore a possibly, if it's the first trade or you're positive, would be a winning session, and then moving on to the next session. That's why it's called a fast test. So I'm going to go through that exercise. I'm going to use this chart because I think this chart will be really fun to do. We'll look at, I'm ambitious. I want to go through 90 days. I don't think we'll get all that done in one session, and most of you will probably by then be bored to tears, which is fair, but hopefully also be a good learning experience and eye-opening for some of you who maybe haven't done this yet. The whole point of fast testing is that you can go through a lot of different possible trade plan ideas. I recommend a dozen of them. I don't care if it takes you a month, however long it takes. And then the best ones, you maybe one or two best, you let the cream rise to the top, and then you dedicate time to the UTA spreadsheet and then finish the trade plan with that. And that builds your confidence. All right, the euro yen, this could be the first trade of the morning at 129.31. Got some nice sized targets. I'll let you look at those over here, up here in the blue. The stop is 129.13. If anyone wants to practice this or just keep an eye on it, still in the testing phase in my view. I haven't fast tested it yet. Now we're just kind of giving it a casual look. And then a reminder, everybody, also, it is 12 minutes before 10 Eastern time, so 11 minutes before 7 a.m. my time, which means we'll probably end this session in about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll restart a new one for the crude oil report. All right, because I want to keep the crude oil reports separate because there's a lot of interest in those. A lot of people just want to see that and not have to sit through an entire trade room listening to me go blah, 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 which is fair. I don't mind. So I'll kick all you guys out. We'll shut it down, and then you come right back in with the crude oil session. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the clock. Other than that, we kind of didn't really look at the YM. When we started, the YM had gotten into the short, but it was ahead of time. So the YM did get short here while I was talking. We missed it. I don't know. Let me know if you're trading the YM. But you'd have to adjust that down to below that little spike on the left to 48. That sucks. It's like a 4-point adjustment, and it did hit, it hit 49. So look, this is why we do these adjustments. Remember, 1 or 2 ticks are okay, 3 ticks sometimes, 4 ticks rarely. That's my motto. The trade was marginally large enough, but you want to work around what the price action is showing you. You have action moves up. You want to be careful getting into a trade that could be a reaction that would set up a new action move up. That's hard to do, especially when we know Spotlight is really good at catching these reversals, and a lot of them are just V-shapes. And the V-shape reversals can be quite profitable. So one way to play it would be adjust around the spike to the left, because the price action is definitely telling us that for whatever reason, the low of that spike, there was some price rejection. That was at 49. The 50 level is a strong key level. So right at 49, it gets rejected. Then you get the short. Do you want to get short right above 50, right? The entry's at 52, right above where it got rejected at 49. Doesn't it make sense to move the entry down to 48? I mean, that's just a habitual thing. You should always do that, especially on a trade that could be a reaction and set up another move higher. So I did a video last week, maybe you guys saw it. When the price comes up again and tests the swing high and fails, and then moves lower, then if it hits 48 maybe, it didn't even get to 48, it only got down to 51, but maybe then is where you get into the trade. But look what happens. It finds support on the 20 SMA. That's why we use the 20 SMA, because it often marks the end of a reaction. And instead, the subsequent action move is the profitable trade. So this short trade, I mean, the signposts are there. The price action's kind of telling you. It's just a matter of learning those little techniques. I call it the 5% art to trading. It makes a difference. Because that short gets avoided. Now, is this tradable? I don't know. I wasn't watching. 8:36 and 57 seconds. 8:37 and 9 seconds. It may have been too fast. Maybe it wasn't tradable. Let me know if you guys saw this. It looks like almost like the pound Aussie trade, although I bet it went faster. But look how perfect that target 4 is. And then it trails up a little bit more, but not much. So I don't know if that was even tradable. But you avoid the loser. If you follow that technique I just described, Brett, if you have to, well, you got a couple things going on here that you want to consider. I don't like making a 4-tick adjustment. I try to avoid it, but it is allowable, especially if you have multiple reasons to do it. So I think like a chess player, right? You move in chess if you have more than one, if your move does more than one thing for you. So you've got the 50 movie, you got the 50 key level, you got the price rejection at 49, and you have a strong action move up with the indicators. Look at the 3 lines moving up and spreading apart. That's indicating strength. We know the 20 SMA is a good pullback zone for a reaction, reaction, subsequent action. The subsequent action will often mirror the first action. That's a tradable. Your odds are better trading the action move. This could be a new action move short, but let's make it push through and show us. Let's see if the price action can give us a little more confirmation. It was unable to do that. Price action confirmation. So all those things. So when it comes up and then comes back down, I think that's what you're asking. Would you then get short? I still would make it push through because the support's still there. I still don't want to get short on top of support. I still want the price action confirmation. The 20 SMA, I mean, it's right at the 50 too. It's like the coincidences are just, they're right there. The price action is right there telling you. I will give up a few ticks. That's, you know what? We all hate insurance until we need it. We pay the premium, we hold our nose, we try to forget it the second we write the check. It's a necessary evil. We all know what that is. So here's a insurance premium that we only pay if we don't need it. When we need it, it costs us nothing. The 4 ticks is the cost of an insurance premium. So it has value, doesn't it? I mean, you have to think in terms of the value it provides. That's how I look at it. Hopefully that makes sense. Not knowing, though, if this long trade was tradable, maybe you need another trade. And there's a short here. You don't have the same situation here. You got nothing clear to work around, right? You don't really have anything to adjust around. It's a much smaller trade. The entry is at 04. There's just nothing you can do on that. Now, did it go too fast again? looks like it might have went way too fast. I mean, 41 and 26 seconds, and then 33 seconds, like 7 seconds later, it's already down here. So this is probably also untradeable. So that leaves you with this one. This one here, who knows? But what I would say, if I'm looking at it, I still don't see any safe adjustment zones. The short's at 98. I don't think you want to adjust all the way down to 88, a 10-tick adjustment. No. You can wait for it to come up and test, and then grab it if it pulls back down. That's an extra safe way to do this trade. But the stop is above here, and one thing I would say is that it just, your action moves up are running out of steam, right? So you have this strong action move up, you have this meandering sideways reaction, and usually or often it'll pull back to the lines, but in this case, it just kind of hangs out while the line catches up to it. The line goes to it. That's a reaction. It's just, different consolidation. But then the action moves that follow are running out of gas, right? A couple times there's no follow through. So oftentimes the breakout through resistance without follow through could lead to a strong move in the opposite direction. Now, the exception to that would be if it's just a strong trend day, or, a trend day is just a loose term. It could be for the next hour. A strong trend where reversals are going to fail no matter what. That could happen. That's rare, though. It's not as common as the failure to follow through could lead to a strong move in the opposite direction. So you could take that trade where it is, or you can use the technique I talked about, let it come up and test up here first, and then grab it if it comes back down. So this would have lost. So, depending on how you take that trade, it's either a winner or a non-trade. If you're waiting for the extra confirmation, that was the price of insurance that obviously it would have paid off for you. So then there's another one. Still, it keeps trying to break through to new highs with no follow through. Not only that, but remember, when you get to that fourth reversal, the fourth reversal in a trend, where does this trend start is the question. Because there's a lot of reversals going all the way back. If you go all the way back, you got reversal after reversal. So clearly the market is in a strong uptrend, hitting new highs, new record highs, historic highs, right? So you got to be careful. This short trade, again, looks like it just lost. But if you use my technique, like I talked about in the video, you're being very careful, because instead of taking the short, you wait for it to come up and test the highs. And then if it fails to get higher, comes back down, you get in sync with the trade. See what I'm saying? YM's been tough for sure. The only good trades that were winnable or that won were not tradable because they were too fast. So the YM's been a challenge for sure. Let me point out to you guys, while it's on my mind, that next week, on Thursday the 18th, a week from tomorrow, will be the last day that you're in the March contract on the E-minis. So don't forget that Friday next week, you roll over to the M. M is in Mother Mary. M is in June. The June contract starting a week from Friday on the E-minis. Not only that, but Thursday, a week from tomorrow, is the 18th. So on Thursday, you're also going to want to roll over to the May contract in your energies and crude and unleaded, etc. It could be even sooner than Thursday, but Thursday is the 18th. So May is the K contract. So don't forget those very important details. I think my cell phone's blowing up. No, it's not. Okay, good. Brett, just to follow up on your question, let me know if that helped. My answered your question for you. It's always a trader decision, right? It's always on the right edge of the chart in live time. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And sometimes you get it right and sometimes you don't. And so from my point of view, and something I learned a long time ago, because literally that can drive you crazy, especially trying to call a trade room when everyone is like hoping you tell them the right thing to do, right? What a responsibility. There's a long, this could be a Johnny come too late trade, because you got the 3 strong bars up. It's like maybe that move already happened and we've seen it break through resistance and then fall back down. So that's a tough trade. I don't know, the YM might be a little out of sync this morning, but there it is. I usually like those blue trades closer to the blue line. But anyway, that is the next trade. You can follow it or take it, 171. Target 1 is the objective on this 14-tick momentum bar, which is 204. It's a 33-tick move. And the stop, of course, at 32,129. And what was I just saying again? Shoot, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I know. Yeah, having to make those on-the-fly decisions. Do you adjust 4 ticks or not? Or whatever that 5% art decision is. Don't be a 10 or 20 or 30% artist. Too much art is no good. Lean on the system. And then here's the thing. This is why fast testing is so important. Like what we'll do when we do our session on the euro yen, is that you establish a set of parameters and you learn to do it the same way every time. And most of the time, if you've kind of selected a good rule, it will work for you, and sometimes it won't work for you because nothing's 100%, but that doesn't mean it's a bad rule. That doesn't mean it's a bad approach just because sometimes it doesn't work. And a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, oh, it's working, and then they get a couple losses in a row, and then they're like, oh, it's broken, and then they throw it away and move on, and that's a mistake. Nothing's going to win 100% of the time, and you're never going to be right 100% of the time. And a handful of trades does not a sample set make. It doesn't tell you anything. It's just a random result, random distribution of wins and losses and decision-making results. That's why we test. That's why you do it. You live with it for a while. I mean, 6 months from now, you might be in a better position to decide if that rule helps you or not. But you want to do it the same way each and every time. Once you've committed and settled in and you've had a reason to use that technique, you do it the same way. And then you learn from it with time and experience. If you don't do it the same way, you're never going to learn anything because you won't get results. You can't measure your results based on what a rule produces or not. That's key. If you're trying to improve your trading, that's critical. Measurable results over time will help you make better decisions over time. And then you get the benefit of time and experience, which is only one way to get that, through time and experience. No one can teach you that. So you don't want to rob yourself of that benefit by always chasing your tail, trying to be 100%. That's foolish because it's not possible anyway. So what's the point? And Roger, yeah, good point. Finally, we get another hour of daylight. I'm thrilled for that. I always love it because that means that we're rolling into my favorite part of the year. So I told you guys, some of you remember months ago, that I grabbed some long-term options on Ford Motor Company, because it had gotten into the $4 range, and I just didn't believe it was going to go all the way to zero. I was willing to throw money at that. Thought it was a pretty good bet. It has been kicking butt. And I did the same thing with Macy's. I mean, two very unsexy, kind of off most people's radar stocks, real old dinosaur style stocks. But because of COVID, they were just depressed, way down. And so I grabbed a bunch of options on both, and they are both paying off big time. The thing that got me into Macy's, I mean, I'm not a shopper, but I've been in those stores recently. I was looking for something. I forget what it was. I mean, obviously they're empty. So I'm thinking, imagine that. Their online business is killing it. So I heard that. I forget where. I either read it or heard it on the news. Something sparked my interest. And I went into a store, and there's no one in the store. But the online business is killing it. I mean, it's just exploding. And then I'm thinking, when COVID finally gets behind us, all that pent-up demand, how many people are going to want to go out and blow all this free government money on stuff? So that got me thinking, all right, I'm going to load up on some long-term Macy's options. Man, that was a good decision. Macy's is pushing up over $17 a share. I forget where I bought it. I have to look. Around maybe $6 or $7. I don't know. Ford also. Same principle. People are going to be wanting to buy new vehicles too. Ford pushing a new swing highs. I got it around $4.50 maybe. It's pushing up to $13 a share. It's like 15 cents under. That's a big move. I just bought the furthest option I can get, the longest. I don't care if it costs more. I wanted the time just to sit and watch the fun. I mean, there's no other strategy other than just those ideas. Trading doesn't have to be dots on a chart. Trade strategy could be, or a trade plan, or a trade idea. It could be any number of things. When will I take profit? That's the conundrum, right? I mean, anyone can get into a trade. The hard part is getting out of a trade. How do you know when? So that'll be a little tricky. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to look at the long-term charts, and when I get up to a level that might be close, and I may consider, I don't know. I mean, what if it breaks through and keeps on going? I don't know. I can't let greed kind of dictate my hand. I've already made a bundle. I'll do something. I haven't decided yet. Other good stocks that have been killing it for me: Bank of America, a company I hate. I have a lifetime boycott. I hate them so much that I bought the stock so I can make some money off of them for ripping me off over the years. How's that for sweet revenge? Yeah, I did that. Anyone familiar with EPD? EPD is an oil pipeline. I've had it for years and years. It pays a really fat dividend. And I've just been quietly letting those dividends reinvest. It's building into a position over the years. And with oil as low as it is, I mean, well, it's gone up now, but the upside's been wonderful. You don't hear me talk too much about stocks and options, but it's a great way to trade. And these strategies, Spotlight, Counterpunch, those two in particular, they work so well. They really do. I'm surprised I don't get more questions about it from you guys, but that's okay. Look at the swings in crude oil. Crude oil has just been, first of all, the fact that it's trading up in this level in the mid-60s. Have you guys noticed it's just been producing amazing trades again? I mean, when it gets down low in the 50s and even lower, the trades get compressed. They're not as good. Look at them now. Now that this is like the sweet spot. I mean, yeah, you got to pay more at the pump. That sucks. But you can make it up 100 times over or more just trading these futures contracts. Spotlight and Counterpunch are both just loving it. Hopefully you guys are too. All right, so I'm going to give you a curtain call warning here. It's 12 minutes after 10. In the next 4 or 5 minutes, we're going to close this room, and then I'll reopen the new one for the crude oil report. I have to still do a couple things, get set up for it and all that. So if you have any questions, this is the time to ask. And if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. Again, I'm trying to get YouTube to notice my channel, which the like buttons help. And then again, any questions, guys, this is your chance to ask. Otherwise, we'll just be back here shortly to do the crude report. Don't forget, tomorrow is John's room. John will be in the trade room tomorrow. But next week, John is offline. He will not be here on Tuesday and Thursday. So next week, we're only doing Monday and Wednesday. So remember that. Don't show up on Tuesday and Thursday and be disappointed. John will be unavailable. All right, I don't see anyone asking any questions, so you guys are all veterans by now. So in about 2 more minutes, we're going to shut the room down. Don't forget, we'll be right back in again a few minutes after that to start our crude oil report. Probably be in here 5 minutes in front of the report, so give me a couple minutes, refresh my coffee. That's important. Don't forget, I am on the West Coast, and I've only had 2 cups. It's not enough. And I will just say, let's just take a quick look. The euro yen has not triggered into that trade, and it's looking like this is a 6 pip momentum bar, by the way. Same trade plan as a pound Aussie, which is an 8 pip momentum bar. This is a 6 pip momentum bar. And it looks like there's not enough range in this bar to close above the balance line, which means this long trade will cancel. You can cancel it if you were waiting for that to trigger, and it is going to cancel. So no trade yet on the euro yen. Yeah, enough time to get coffee for sure. Oops, I just hit the see you later button. Maybe one more chart we can look at really quick, and then I'm going to close the room. The euro Aussie is another one I'm considering, especially for our trade a day service. It looked like it was a bit problematic, had a couple losses and then a winner. So this would have been, I haven't decided to use this chart yet. It's still kind of in the prove it mode. That's why I haven't brought it online yet. But this is using some of the diamond level setups in the Spotlight Master Suite, setups we don't talk about much, which I need to spend more time teaching you guys. The open on the line setups are pretty darn good. This morning, though, had some problems with these first 2 trades, but then a nice winner. So this probably ended up being a losing session. So the jury's still out. This may be part of what we do in the trade a day service. Could be this, could be the euro yen, and the pound US. That one's been kicking butt too. I'm not sure if I have that even available to show you guys, but that's another one I'm considering because that one's been screaming good. So I don't want to be reactionary. And then there's a 60-minute chart, which is beyond the scope of a service like that because it's just too slow. And this one's been really good too, despite the last trade losing. Pretty interesting trade plan on the 60-minute. You got to learn how to just get in sync with it. So if it happens in the middle of the night, you come back when you are trading. In this case, maybe you avoid it. I don't know. You might grab it. Oh, I didn't quite get to the entry. So like if you're getting in sync, it's the middle of the night. That was in the afternoon, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Depending on when you're using your snapshot trading method, that is getting in sync. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. All right, so I need a few minutes. Goodbye, everyone. See you in a few minutes. Hit the like button, please, if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you shortly for the crude oil report. Bye.